We just found out the official reason why 50 Cent is never letting up off Diddy's neck. This ain't no petty rap beef. This is that you violated the code forever fade. And the way this one came out, straight out the courtroom like a stray bullet. Clean through the lies, no silencer. Everybody been acting clueless, ducking questions like they dodging subpoenas. Till today. Now the tea boiling over. And trust me, it's scalding. Alright, let's spin the block real quick. Y'all remember this dude right here, Lil Rod, the one on the left? The same one who pulled up on Diddy in court over that shady publishing play. See, Lil Rod and Diddy was working on a project together, some type of album collab. But somewhere between them studio sessions and the paperwork, Diddy must have thought he was slick. Allegedly jerked Lil Rod clean out his cut. No splits, no crumbs, just ghosted him out the back end like he ain't contribute nothing. So Lil Rod ain't take that lightly. He ain't just file a basic lawsuit. Nah, homie went nuclear. He said, bet. You want to play me on paper? Cool, I'm gonna expose everything. This wasn't just about the publishing anymore. Lil Rod put a whole chest of skeletons on the table, claimed Diddy not only robbed him, but violated him on a whole other level. Like the man said he got receipts and trauma. This went from a business dispute to a yo, you crossed the line as a man type of war. And that's when the whole thing started unraveling. Because once the secrets started leaking, 50 peep game, and now we see why he not letting this one go.
Yeah, because I run shit. You know what I'm saying? I run shit.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Little Rod ain't worth giving this kingdom to if we don't control his publishing. I can solve his efforts with 3 other human beings. He's eating at our table, and I like his backstory, but you need to have other people. It's hard to work with him unless we have his power. He's a piece of human, but we do not need his talent unless we can work with him.
Here's where it gets grimy. This is how 50 and his baby mama end up in the mix. Lil Rod claimed in court that Diddy was flexing about having multiple women on a monthly stipend, like they was employees on a freaky payroll. He dropped names: Carisha, Young Miami, Jade Ramsey, nobody knows her for real, and yup, Daphne Joy, 50 Cent's baby mama. According to Rod, Diddy said they were all getting paid to be his so-called comb egg workers. Yeah, whatever that means. But it sounds like some twisted VIP escort type title. Now imagine 50 seeing his baby moms listed in them papers, grouped in with Diddy's roster. He ain't taking that lightly. This ain't just clout shots anymore. This is personal. Now we see why Fifth on Demon Time with this whole situation. 50 a certified menace, so he ain't run from Lil Rod's claims. He ran to him. As soon as that lawsuit hit the blogs, 50 jumped on IG with the most disrespectful caption. I didn't know you was an egg worker. You little egg worker? LOL. Straight cooked her in public like it was stand-up comedy. Of course, that set it off. Daphne Joy wasn't having it. She clapped back saying everything Lil Rod said was a lie. But at that point, the damage was done. 50 already flipped the narrative and turned this whole courtroom drama into a full-blown reality show. After Lil Rod labeled her an egg worker in that lawsuit, Daphne Joy fired back quick. She said she was deeply hurt and called the claim straight-up character assassination. Said it was all cap and that she's lawyering up to come for both Lil Rod and his attorney. But she wasn't done. She spun the block on 52. Since he co-signed the claim on IG, she put him in the crosshairs, basically saying you supposed to protect me, not clown me in front of the world. Now it's beef on 2 fronts for her. This ain't just legal, it's personal. So Daphne Joy took to her IG story and let it all fly. She accused 50 of creating chaos, saying he thinks this whole thing is a joke, but real lives are in danger and her safety's on the line. She said she even moved to New York to give him a shot at fatherhood, but claims he fumbled that too. Then she dropped a bomb, accused 50 of raping and physically violating her, said he's no longer her oppressor and that God gonna deal with him, called him out for shattering whatever was left of her hope for her family, said his public clowning was the final heartbreak. And the way she wrote it, you'd swear she was the victim of a setup, like 50 and Lil Rod were tag teaming a lie and she was caught in the middle, not even knowing where this whole egg worker angle came from. So 50 sued Daphne Joy and made her retract her abuse and rape claims. She kept denying the whole egg worker thing for months, until she had to testify under oath. And in court, she folded, confessed to everything. What really hit different though, was how actually there was very little money involved. All that clout, all them pics, and she was out here moving for scraps. Made it real clear, a lot of these industry women ain't rich. They just look the part.
Has officially taken the stand. She's victim number 2. She will be on the stand for several days, and a lot of her testimony sounds very similar to Cassie's. First met Diddy in 2020 on a girls' trip to Miami, and at the time, he was dating her friend, but he was still flirting with her and offered her his number. The two began texting and were calling each other nicknames. She would call him Ernie, and he would call her Bert. The day after meeting her, he texted her saying he wanted to take her out, but she texted him back saying it felt complicated. At the time of meeting Diddy, she was living on the East Coast and said that he was pursuing her, and when her friend got engaged to someone else, she decided to give it a go.
Daphne's testimony made one thing very clear. These women aren't victims. They knew the play. She went on a girls' trip with her homegirl who was already messing with Diddy, and then she ended up bagging Diddy behind her back. She acted shy at first, but we all know the move. And the homegirl? No better. After getting flown out, clapped out, and tossed around, she dipped overseas and married some poor simp 90 days later. But let's be real, dude was probably wifing her while she was already in Diddy's rotation. Daphne tried to spin it the relationship with Diddy didn't start until after her friend moved on. But to me, the whole thing screams opportunist. Her entire testimony painted her as broke, bumming, and completely dependent on Diddy's wallet. She wasn't a partner. She was a bill.
In of 2021, she said she flew out to Miami to have their first date, and they spent 5 days in a hotel room. Said they had dinner on the balcony, they went all the way, and she let him know that she had a child with someone that he knew. This person did not get along with Diddy, but he said that he didn't mind. During those 5 days, she said they did get dressed up and go out to a restaurant, and she was head over heels. A month later for her birthday, Diddy took her to Turks and Caicos and the Bahamas for a 15-day luxury trip, and KK was there as well as a chef, a butler, and at one point, even a barber. Diddy gifted her a bracelet that said love, and she told him that she was an influencer and that's how she made money. So because he was taking her away from her work, he wired her $10,000.
Now these chicks got hustled, no doubt. Daphne was out here living the influencer life, posting from tropical locations like she built that lifestyle herself. But she only ended up testifying to prove that Diddy was paying her a monthly bag to link up with other dudes on command. At first, it wasn't framed like a direct transaction until she said she wanted out. That's when Diddy hit her with the pressure. No more freak-offs? No more hotel time? Cool. But how you paying that rent then? Clock's ticking, and you got 90 days to figure it out.
Testified that he introduced her to X, Molly, Snow, and Came, and those were the substances that they would take every time that they would sleep together. She said that part of her life became very intense because every time that would happen, there would be red lighting, corn playing, she would wear dancer shoes, lingerie, and coated in baby oil. It would often last 24 hours, and it first started off making love, but turned into something else. He said that she and Diddy would often talk about his fantasies, and then said in May of 2021 in Miami, after being awake and high for 24 hours, he had brought it up. He suggested making one of the fantasies come true and inviting a man to the hotel, and she got nervous. He said Diddy's assistant started to prep the room, there was red lighting, and a man named Dawn showed up. He said Diddy and Dawn started talking, and she was sitting on the couch with her robe on, legs crossed, and she was nervous. When Diddy told her to stand up and start dancing to ease her nerves. He said Dawn was only wearing underwear and Diddy was making himself happy. And then you know the rest. She and Dawn started doing things, then she and Diddy did things, and said it was taboo and thrilling at first, but it opened Pandora's box. Now Diddy would call these sessions freak-offs with Cassie, but she said with her it was debauchery or hotel night.
Now here's the key difference between Daphne and Cassie. Cassie's team saying Diddy forced her, coercion, hands-on abuse, the whole nine. But with Daphne, nobody's saying he forced her. They're saying it was transactional. She started messing with Diddy because she liked him, but it turned into play for pay real quick. And that's where it gets illegal. Paying someone for sex? That's prostitution. Flying them out for it? That's a federal charge. So even if the feds fumble everything else, Diddy could still get hit with 2 charges for transportation to engage in sexual activities. One for Cassie, one for Daphne. Forced or not, he flew him out, broke him off, then threatened to pull the plug when they wanted out.
She said after that one time, it happened every time she saw him. And she said these nights were not short. It lasted 20 to 30 hours, involved 24 bottles of baby oil, and always followed the same script. Red lights, substances, escorts, and doing it while Diddy was doing his thing. She had told Diddy she didn't want to do this anymore in writing and verbally. He would respond and tell her, that's fine. If we break up, I'm not paying your rent. Because of that, she felt obligated to continue and said that Diddy was paying her $10,000 a month for rent and gave her cash wired her up to $20,000 at a time and told her to stay beautiful, available, and ready at a moment's notice. Whenever Diddy wanted these nights to happen, she said, I always had child care ready. Because of this, she said she kept her appearance perfect, rarely saw her friends, and said her social media career dwindled. At one point, she tried to ask Diddy about being on OF because one of her model friends were on there, but he said no. He talked about a time when she went to the south of France in the summer of 2021 and said he was angry in the voice notes that he was sending her. Also talked about the fact that he wanted her to look a certain way during these sessions, saying he wanted her to have straight hair with a ponytail and wanted her to pierce, upstairs. He said they did take a short break in 2023, but it didn't stop the pattern of these nights. He said they got back together in February of 2024, which was after Cassie had filed her lawsuit, and broke up a few months before his arrest. And she told the jury, it felt like a door I wanted to shut, but I couldn't.
Now, ain't no victim talk here. Daphne got with Diddy after the Cassie case. She knew what it was. Nobody forced her. She chose that life. Ran up her body count from 50 to 200, allegedly, for just $10K a month? Now folks look at her as recreational forever. Ain't no celeb wifing her up again. Maybe a broke dude seeing her as a come-up, but that's it. And 50? Man, if he didn't hate Diddy before, he hates him for real now. Imagine finding out your baby mom's getting passed around, violated by random dudes, then came home and kissed your son? 50 even said on IG, don't kiss my son with those lips, you egg worker. He not letting this go. And honestly, after all this, would you? But hey, if you made it this far, click the left side of your screen to see why 1090 Jake might have just tanked his own career by lying on Larry Hoover. And also, don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share to be aware, put me in the algorithms. I need to be there, man. I know there's 10 other streamers out there like me, but
Fuck that little 10. I'm maxed out.